Nothing fuels the conversation of a footy season like the journey of the coaches, particularly the coaches who find themselves in predicaments worse than they might have imagined. And in the three cases being most debated at the moment, there is nothing simple about the scenarios.
Either see a rise in the next week or so, or I think you've got to make some tough calls, whether it's to go on or to pull the pin on Nathan Buckley.
David Teague could be out of his depth.
The ultimate issue is, does he want to take a challenge up somewhere else?
I sit here tonight quite confident that he'll be coaching Collingwood in 2022.
I thought the change would come, but I can also understand the decision that they'll make, that they still feel like they've got a good man.
We're going to be sitting here this time next year, possibly, having the same exact discussion.
I still feel there is a bit of I've lost hope from some senior players.
I wonder, for David Teague, I'd be pretty threatened if Justin Leppich was coming in underneath me.
Has Carlton spoken to you about two different roles?
A conversation is just a conversation, and it doesn't always mean at round 9 that it's going to end up into anything.
Let's say it's a 4 to 6 year build if you get it all right. That's what I think Hawthorn people have got to gear themselves up for, if they get it 100% right.
Footy fans aren't stupid. It's not going to take 2 years, go to the draft and we'll be right, we'll fix this thing. It's going to take a lot of patience.
The question is, does he want to leave this club at this stage and take up another challenge?
Yeah, I think that's the question that you mentioned, and is the word want. Ultimately, I think it's going to be up to Alistair in the end. It's a brave footy club that'll tip him out and say, you're not the man to rebuild us, given his track record.
So none of those contemplations is straightforward, and there's a temperature check, there's a bit of forecasting going on, there's a bit of tea leaf reading happening, there's a bit of wind sniffing going on. So one at a time, and your mind was drawn towards Collingwood's and how the off-field scenario is, how it relates to the on-field, and the position of the president, the position of the senior coach. We are now 9 rounds through and things are less clear at Collingwood than when we began.
No, it's clearer now that it's an absolute mess. Absolutely clear it's a mess. We have this situation on the available evidence. Does Buckley know that the current board wants him? We've got all this talk about the Jeff Brown-led ticket. We haven't seen it publicly. It's been written about many, many times. I think Mark Corder and his current board are getting slaughtered in the PR stakes right now. Collingwood fans sing at home, they are... I'm not talking for Collingwood fans, but I could imagine if I was barracking for Collingwood, I'd be saying what has happened and what is going on at our football club. Brown, are you going to put your hand out? Corder, can you speak to us, please? Our football team is 2-7. We've got a really tough month ahead. They really could be 2-11. Is that survivable? 2-11? I don't think it is. But if they think Buckley's the man, come out and reappoint him now and get some stability around this football club. Because right now, everywhere you look, Jared, and I use this often, the spot fires, this is very, very quickly becoming an inferno. And it's just going on. And reports last night that Sam McClure said, I believe he is going to be offered a 1-year deal. And I thought, this is big news. But by the end, I was thinking, was it news or what's it opinion? And he said, it might not happen. And I'm not having a go at Sam. He might have some really good information that Buckley will be reappointed for 12 months. I haven't got that information. Have you got any? No.
And as an opinion, a 1-year extension is the most useless thing that could happen. You don't kick this conversation down the road. Yeah. It is a conversation for now. There is nothing in Collingwood's timeline that is about 2022 anymore. So you can't align the coach's contract to that. And this is one of those moments where indecision would fester instability, and you would have these exact same conversations and scenarios would repeat again next year, and you make no progress. We've watched clubs who mark time. Marking time gets you nowhere. So it's about 22, 23 and 24. So if there's going to be a reappointment of Nathan Buckley, it needs to be the coach committing for 3 years and the club committing to him for 3 years, and anything short of that, and they ought to part ways. And you know my very firm view is that they shouldn't. This is a 3-year deal together and a partnership to walk through what's to come next. You can't kick a decision as big as this down the road.
You're really strong on communication between presidents and their constituents, especially in times of great peril which is happening now. Again, all Collingwood people are reading about is here come over the hill and the big white horses is Jeff Brown and his mates. Whoever they are, they're on the other side of the hill. They're just about to come charging over. Meanwhile, Collingwood people are sitting there going, who is Mark Corder? What is Mark Corder? Is Mark Corder still an extension of Eddie Maguire? He was vice president for a decade. Is Mark Corder his own man, or is he a leftover from the Maguire era? If I was giving him some advice, and he can laugh whatever I'm going to say here, and I really don't care, he's got to come out and stand up on his own 2 feet and give some direction and give some vision about what's going on, or where does he think we're going at the moment? Because right now, Collingwood fans are sitting back saying, what is happening?
So I think you would take the view tonight with the news that Alex Weislitz, who has been Eddie Maguire's vice president essentially for 22 years, he has resigned effective immediately and made way on the board for Dr Bridley O'Donnell. Paul Licuria and Jody Size take up the role as vice presidents. So on a 7-person board, Corder is the only long-term lineage as a board member, and then Peter Murphy has been there maybe a fraction longer than the others. But this is a board that essentially has 6 members who have been there for 5 years and fewer. I would say that's Mark Corder's battle-ready board. If there is going to be a battle, he's assembled his board. It includes a medical professional now and an elite athlete on numerous fronts for a club that's got a netball team and an AFLW team. It's Jody Size, who's got the Indigenous portfolio. So I would guess he now has his board assembled. And then there's are they coming over the hill or not? Yeah. And we probably have reached a moment for the Collingwood constituency where you have to, it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah, and Tony Shaw's been really strong on it. And Shaw is such a passionate and good person, and he's a good Collingwood person. And, fix the board battle. Because right now, that's only one element. But from there stretches so many equations. I mean, what's happening with Bucks? We were talking today. Can I? We got time? Yeah. We were talking today in the office, okay, and we were talking about Nathan Buckley, the person, more than Nathan Buckley, the coach. And when we say Nathan Buckley, the person, what this person has meant to the Collingwood Football Club, and it's a bit of my Patrick Cripps stuff, but it's just what I feel about people. Bucks has been at that club for almost 30 years. 30 years, this guy, whether you like him or not, has given his heart and soul on the field. And then he went away and he's come back, tough circumstances, and now it's 10 years and people say, get rid of him. If you're going to get rid of him, do it with great respect, because he deserves every little bit. And right now, I don't think he's getting great respect. I really don't. I know where you sit on this, but some people are more important to football clubs than others, and Buckley is one. Now, people can say, well, you've been getting him for years. Yeah, I thought before he had to go. Right now, I don't know, right? I presume he's gone. I do. I presume he's gone. But Buckley shouldn't be at this stage of the year twiddling something on. What is going on? What am I? Where's Jeff Brown? Is Jeff Brown? It's not good, mate. I need to find.